Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today, throughout the program, we pay tribute to the late Ian Boyne. He was not only our deputy CEO, but friend and counselor. Known for his prime journalistic skills and riveting interviews, Mr. Boyne has left an indelible mark on Jamaica. But don't just take our word for it.
That man we always come on the TV and him talk everything what go on in the country, and you know him give him like a joke and him jam.
Mr. Boyne was a Jamaica #1. Jamaica #1. Not two, Jamaica #1. That's what I have to say. And God bless his soul.
Excellent journalism. You know, that is what comes to mind. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
He encouraged a lot of young people in this society, and he helps me to do better in high school.
People are come from nothing to something, you know.
As a young man growing up, I always try to know, so even every Sunday I reach church late because of his program, because it helped to elevate me to be the person that I am right now.
He's a good man, very good one. Yeah, hard-working man, talented.
We are absolutely shocked and saddened by the departure of one of our major icons in media, Mr. Ian Boyne. He had single-handedly changed the landscape and the conversation around governance, around finance, around social policy, and around religion. And we took our major lessons from Ian. We're going to miss him. We're going to miss him terribly.
The media mogul conducted many interviews during the JIS Sunday Staple Issues and Answers. This week, we revisit his conversation with Kahila White, coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit.
Thanks for joining us for our Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. The government has a menu of things which it engages in to deal with the matter of security and crime control. And one of those areas is restorative justice. It's an important plank in the work of the Ministry of Justice. And today we have the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, Kahila White, and she'll be telling us about the work that this unit is doing in communities all across Jamaica. A very vital work of helping people to resolve disputes and to come to amicable solutions. We thank you for your company. Good to have you, Mrs. White, on the program. Tell us the essence of the restorative justice program of the Ministry of Justice.
Okay, restorative justice can be thought of as one of the arms of alternative dispute resolutions. It's another way of thinking about crime, where individuals are most interested in solving their conflicts in a successful manner, run by facilitators at centers throughout the island. We have 10 centers throughout the island.
Outside of the court system.
Outside of the court system.
It's a means of dealing with outside of the court system.
We reduce case backlog. That's one of the goals.
That's very important.
And then we really want to promote peace and have individuals change, have a cultural paradigm shift with resolving conflict in a peaceful manner. So
that's the essence.
That's the essence of restorative justice.
So there are about, what, 10 centers?
There are.
In communities like what do you?
We have communities in Augusttown. We just opened our latest centers, July 2017 of this year in West Kingston, Tivoli Gardens and Denhamtown. Restorative Justice Centers are our latest two.
Yes. So you work in a number of inner city communities?
Definitely. That's where the needs are. We've gone in those communities. We're in the West, we're in Montego Bay and Sav Lamar. We have communities, Tower Hill here in Kingston, Trenchtown, Spanish Town, Clarendon. And so we're excited about the work that's taken place.
Tell us more about the system. How does it work? Perhaps I'm in conflict with someone. I might be thinking of taking the person to court and so on. And then I decide to come and see you.
Yes.
And you would have mediators, you would have people to help me work through my dispute.
Right. Well, we call them facilitators. They're facilitators, and the biggest difference between restorative justice and, say, mediation is that we are focused on repairing the community. So you'll find at our conferences, community members can be involved in the process. We've done 82 conferences from January to July of this year throughout the islands.
Conferences. What do you call a conference?
Conferences are, you and I are talking, and you would have support, I would have a support, and then some other
So both of us
community.
were in dispute.
We're in dispute.
So I would have my
support.
You would have your support.
So would I. And then we'd have community representatives as a means of balancing.
Like what, perhaps a JP?
Perhaps a JP, it could be...
community leader or pastor.
Exactly. School administrator. So we have individuals that really want to serve Jamaica, really want to promote peace. We're having a rallying cry. Join us. Become a restorative justice facilitator. You can pick up a form to be a restorative justice facilitator or volunteer either at the Ministry of Justice or at any of our centers island-wide or even online.
I see. One can volunteer to be a facilitator.
You can volunteer and go through the training process because it's a training process whereby you would go and hear from other individuals and be walked through the process of ensuring that the conference would run smoothly, how to deal with different types of individuals, communication skills, diversity, conflict resolution. You would learn all of that. So.
Do you undertake educational campaigns or programs in terms of speaking to community groups, speaking to schools?
Yes, definitely. And if you're interested in having us speak at your church or community organization, call us at the ministry, 908-5527. You can call us.
So you're available? You
We're
come and
available.
talk to church groups?
And it's free.
And it's free.
I must underline that it's free. We want individuals to know that they can have justice any time of the day that they'd like. Call us, give us some notice, and we will come and meet you where your needs are.
And you will also teach us about conflict management principles?
Most definitely, most definitely.
Conflict management techniques.
And we've done this in corporate sectors. We've had conferences. If you're having disputes at your workplace, you can call us and we'll do conferences. So, you know, we're excited about what's taking place in justice. We just opened up our first justice center in St. Anne. So we're really excited. That's going to have restorative justice, child diversion, and we're going to offer other services that you would find at Ministry of Justice. You're going to be able to access information about human trafficking and legal aid. So we're really excited about what's going on.
Yes. So a great deal is happening in terms of restorative justice. Not only are there facilities for people to manage actual disputes, but there's a lot of dissemination of information telling people what they can do to prevent disputes. And many of these disputes end in deaths. So the high crime rate is related to our inability to deal with disputes. The coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, Kahila White, is our guest on Issues and Answers. We take a break.
Every time there's a strong breeze, me yard full up a leaf. End of my nightmare.
She can't chop down the guava tree and get away with it. It's a bearing fruit tree. It's alright. Me and I will have it out in here today.
Lord Jesus. Dude, stop. John wants you, man. John, look here. At least hear what she have to say first now. Hear what she have to say. No, but don't bother the war situation, man. Listen, we can go down to the Restorative Justice Center, you know, man, and sort this thing out. You don't want to set up yourself for jail? Come on, let's sort out this thing. Once and for all.
Restore the peace, restore the love, restore the niceness. Restorative justice. Respect each other.
A program of the Ministry of Justice funded through CSJP.
Welcome back. Hilo White is the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice, and we're talking about the Restorative Justice program. Is this program working in Jamaica where culturally we have not done well at conflict resolution? We are not a generally consensus building culture. What has been your experience in the communities?
Emphatically, yes. Resoundingly, yes. It's working in Jamaica. I can't tell you how many people are not only receptive, they've bought in. Just this past year from January, we've had 82 conferences island-wide with 684 individuals that were a part of the process of coming to an agreement. Out of the 82 conferences, we had 78 agreements come out of this where individuals agreed that, you know what, we had a conflict, we're going to resolve it, here's what we both like to take from this. People are willing to change if they're explained to that the process is free, this can lessen the stress in your life, and it's another way to reduce the huge backlog that we're having in the court system. I look at communities like Augusttown, where there's such a decrease in the violence, and we're seeing more of camaraderie, we're seeing more peace. And I see our own center, Restorative Justice, continuing to help hold up the mantle of spreading this peace throughout the island. And people are hungry for that. People want change. People are screaming for justice, but they're doing more than that. They're coming in and calling and saying, we want to be a part of this emails. I have WhatsApp messages. Yes. I'm excited to
people are coming to you.
People are
you don't
coming.
Have to be trying to interest them.
People are coming to us and saying, come to our church, come to our office space. We're having a conflict. So I'm seeing a cultural shift in terms of how people are thinking about resolving their issues. Even children, when we go into the schools and we talk about, I did a role play earlier today at Norm Manley High School. And the children want to learn how to resolve these issues in a peaceful manner. They don't have to pick up the machete. They don't have to pick up knife or bottle or threaten each other. They can listen to each other's stories and say, okay, I'm hearing how this impacted you. I'm hearing how you felt. How can we move forward from this? What would you like me to do?
And you have spouses who come in also?
Yes, of course. We have spouses that come in. We have neighbors that come in and settle. So it's been a wonderful experience to see and be a part of.
Yes. And you're a licensed family and marriage therapist?
Yes, I am.
So you have experience in resolving conflicts. And a lot of our disputes are domestic disputes. That's a source of a number of murders. So we do need help in that particular area. How would you situate the importance of restorative justice and the government's restorative justice program in the whole effort at containing crime and just building a more peaceful society?
I think the great thing is we have a minister, Minister Delroy Chuck, and the permanent secretary, Mrs. Carol Palmer.
They're committed to
They're committed to this program. I mean, the rallying cry is being heard. And what's happening is we've started taking up this baton to say, we will not sit down and see things happen. So it's a matter of going into the schools, going into the churches, getting our justices of the peace to come on board with us, become facilitators, and help us teach each other how to manage these situations better. If I can't handle it at home, let me go to some professionals that are trained to sit down, talk to individuals in a peaceful and a loving manner. And the heart of restorative justice is about grace and forgiveness, something most Jamaicans would be able to identify with. So it works.
That's very much a part of our Christian culture.
Of course.
And Christian socialization. And in restorative justice, you also aim toward reconciliation. It's not just a matter of dealing with the justice of the situation, but you want to move into reconciliation, improvement in the relationship.
Most definitely. And we see even at the end of our conferences, we encourage individuals to break bread with one another. So we actually have refreshments set up for conference participants whereby they can actually, the person that offended them, you see these individuals loving each other and talking with one another and really trying to hear and now understand, because they've become like sistren and brethren. Yes. They've become a part of the process of healing.
But Mrs. White, you also ensure that those who have done harm acknowledge that harm.
They must acknowledge. That's the key.
And don't make light of the harm, but you know, to confess and to acknowledge the hurt that has been done.
Of course, that's one of the first things. In the pre-meetings, they have to acknowledge, I'm taking accountability. I am the offender.
Yes.
This is what I've done. Hear my story. And then when they get into the conference with the victim, for the victim to then hear, this is where the person was coming from. It doesn't take away from the fact that they've been wronged. What it does is add clarity to that moment in which they were wrong. And now we can move forward and come up with a plan to heal, forgive, in love and grace.
Interesting. Kahila White is the coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit of the Ministry of Justice. The government is doing a number of things. Yes, there's the zones of special operations. That's only one of the initiatives of government. This work of restorative justice is another crucial aspect of the government's crime fighting, crime containment plan. Next week I'll be back with more information for you. Until then, Ian Boyd wishing you a pleasant day.
Today we bid farewell to Ian Boyd. Let's take a trip down memory lane and remember his life, his work, his legacy.
Through his deeds and words, spoken and written, the life of the nation has been influenced for the better. He is seen in the eyes of many as a truly outstanding and dedicated citizen whose work will continue to resonate in the hearts of many. Ian Boyd was an ardent reader, covering several books in a day or night. He always made time to enlighten society on the issues of the day, and so it wouldn't come as a surprise to hear him say,
I should be before my computer knocking out my column for this week.
His opinion pieces won him numerous awards, including Opinion Journalist of the Year on several occasions.
I am one who holds the view that the biggest deficit in Jamaica is the social deficit. It's not the political deficit. It is not the economic deficit. As crucial and as constraining as those deficits are, but it is the social deficit, the lack of trust, the lack of cooperativeness, the lack of cohesiveness, the fractiousness of us as a people, our divisiveness.
He was religious, philosophical, and an optimist.
Mr. Boyd was a person who was very much convinced that what he believed was the truth. He believed that we have a purpose here on earth as Christians.
He will be sadly missed, I know that for a fact, because of the information and the relationship that he used to foster amongst the brethren.
Years ago I came upon these words and adopted them. There is nothing that will happen today, Lord, that you and I can't work out. And whatever I face, I take that. And if you're not religious, you could take this one that says that worry is interest paid on trouble before it becomes due. We worry about a lot of things that never come true.
Through his hard-hitting television program Religious Hard Talk, Ian Boyd merged two of his loves, broadcast journalism and religion. And for 30 years, he hosted Jamaica's longest-running television show, The Indomitable Profile.
Ian and Television Jamaica, through the groundbreaking program Profile, have been promoting what is best about us, namely the many examples of Jamaicans who have excelled in their various fields of endeavor.
And as host of the Jamaica Information Service's flagship interview program, Issues and Answers, Every Sunday, he extracted relevant information to increase public awareness on national, bilateral, and multilateral issues.
How do you see the Caribbean strengthening its links with the larger Latin American region?
To define what are the areas that we would like to tackle together.
He has written and published inspiring books that garnered glowing acclaim, Profile of Excellence, and Ideas Matter. On October 19, 2009, a grateful nation recognized his outstanding work.
For contribution to the field of journalism.
Our colleague, journalist, talk show host, communication executive, director, chief state liaison of the Jamaica Information Service.
The conferment upon Ian Boyne of the national honor, the Order of Distinction in the rank of commander, was an important statement of the value of his contribution to nation building through his unique brand of positive journalism. His dedication takes much more courage and commitment than it might at first seem to be. There are times when I read his columns and celebrate the freedom with which our press is blessed.
There is a view that journalism is only or primarily about the adversarial, the muckraking, the guerrilla, gladiatorial kind of journalism. That certainly has its place. Corruption must be uncovered, fraud must be dealt with, truth must be spoken to power. But if that is all that journalism does, it leaves a people dispirited, cynical, and disempowered. There is a role for positive journalism. There's a role to build up the people's lives. That after you have seen all that is wrong, there is some energy left to do what is right. And this has been the gap that I've sought to fill in journalism in the years that I've been in the profession.
Ian Boyne's story is one of him rising from humble beginnings to achieving excellence. Driven by willpower and a determination for success, he exercised great interest in the diversity of the human experience, religion, international affairs, arts and culture, politics, and the vast range of socio-economic and governance issues.
Ian Boyne is truly what the philosophers call a dialectical thinker. Or as we in Jamaica would say, a truly non-tribal personality. One able to pick sense out of nonsense, and conversely, to discern nonsense in what appears to be orthodoxy, what appears to the naked eye as incontrovertible truth.
I want to thank Ian Boyne, because it is out of my interaction with him, ladies and gentlemen, out of watching his program, out of being mentored by him, that I came to believe in myself and I began to see possibilities for myself.
He has had a long career with the JIS, which he first joined in 1976 as a feature writer and a television broadcaster, when it was known as the Agency for Public Information, API. After a temporary departure, he rejoined the then named JIS in 2002 and was appointed Deputy Chief Executive Officer in 2010. His responsibilities included serving as Chief State Liaison to the offices of the Prime Minister, Governor General, and Leader of the Opposition, while giving oversight to the Research, Print and Production Division.
As Chief State Liaison, Mr. Boyne was responsible for arranging the national broadcasts and for being our front runner, representing the agency at the Office of the Prime Minister, the Leader of the Opposition. He would help with strategic communication for those offices and of course help to mobilize the resources of our agency.
Mr. Boyne was just a fantastic person. I just loved working with him. He's never pressured. He always has a kind word. He's never late with any of his projects. We work together on many projects. He doesn't pressure you, but he gets the job done. A remarkable human being.
He didn't settle for mediocrity, and he always called on the reporters. He encouraged them to strive for excellence and to ensure that their work was of the highest quality. He conducted training sessions for the reporters and editors often, and he ensured that all the feature stories and news releases that were disseminated from the editorial department were of the highest quality.
His life was not all about work. Ian Boyne made time to play, let loose and unwind, laughing a lot and even fancying himself a part-time singer.
Ready now? There is a rose in Spanish Harlem. A little rose in Spanish Harlem.
A lovely human being. He's humble, even though he's so successful. It's not something that he puts in your face. He's just always a lovely person. I will surely miss him.
He was a remarkable colleague. His passing is a deep personal loss for me, and of course for the agency. Persons relied on him to be their advocate, their mediator. He was chief negotiator. He was just the go-between for many of us at all levels, management levels, the staff, and externally as well. And so his contribution was really invaluable.
Ian Boyne, the consummate professional, colleague, pastor, husband, father, friend. March 13, 1957 to December 18, 2017.
I am his administrative officer, so I work very closely with him in terms of his schedule. His work day is extremely long. I leave him here most of the times, and I leave at 7 mostly, and he's here until sometimes 1, 2 in the morning. If he has a column to write, he's here really late. So he has a very long work day, and he has a hectic work schedule.
And he had this laughter that was so robust, rich, you know, and infectious. So you end up laughing with him too, and they don't know what he's laughing about. And I really miss that. I also miss him walking through the office, going about his business, wherever he's going, and he'd be singing some song. Usually it's a song from my era, since, you know, and I'd end up, he'd come back and you'd find that you've been singing the song while he was away, because, you know, you caught on to it.
When I have my problems, I can go to him and he would sit me down and he would counsel me. So he's also a family person, and he's also a counselor too. For me, a family counselor for me.
I call him Mr. B. You understand? I could go in the office and, you know, crack on 1 and 2 joke, and he would always, whatever I'm doing, he would stop and try accommodate me with some joke.
He always remember my birthday when it comes. He always give me a little gift.
Oh, I remember. I've never seen him out of a suit.
I remember I was admitted in the Kingston Public Hospital, and Mr. Boyne paid me a visit down there, in which on that day I get such special treatment. The sister of the ward, up to the nurses and the other patients, was so glad to see Mr. Boyne. Each patient and nurse called him to say, "Come, Pastor Boyne, come and pray for me." And he went and he prayed for everybody, touched everybody in the ward and prayed for them. And I was so blessed. You know, I love him so much.
The goal of grieving is not to eliminate all the pain or the memories of the loss, is to reorganize one's life so the loss is an important part of life rather than its center. It is with these words we close the pages of today's magazine. Send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. Stay informed on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and of course Twitter. Or download our app on your Apple and Android devices to catch up on the go. You can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Happy Sunday and thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.